Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time, my name is Precious. Today's video is super important, like one of the most important videos I have ever made because it's for families. This is something that every family should have in place. So I'm going to be talking about 5 things that every family should have in place. If you're married, or you're about to get married, or you're going to get married in the future, I would like you to please sit back and watch this video from the beginning to the end, because I can assure you that you're going to get something out of this video. But before we get into the video, let's give a shout out to 3 amazing people. Our first shout out goes to Regina Locke, Rita Davison, and Happy Sweet. Thank you so much for your comment in the comment section. As always, if you want a shout out, leave a comment in the comment section of this video and I'm going to give you a shout out. But thank you everyone for your comments so far. I do appreciate every one of you. So what are the 5 things that every family should have in place? Now, I'm a mom of 3 and counting, and I've been married for some years and I've seen a lot of things. I also watch YouTube videos. I see families I've experienced from other people as well, has taught me a lot of things that made me to gather these 5 things that every family should have. If you don't have them in place, I would encourage you, I would advise you to start planning to have these things in place. The first thing that I think every family, in fact, as soon as you get married, the first thing you should do is, number 1, life insurance. I don't know where you are in this world, wherever you are. I live in the UK, and there are a lot of people who are watching me that live in different parts of the world. Insurance is everywhere. I don't think there's anywhere that you can't get life insurance at this time, 21st century basically. If you don't have life insurance, I don't know what you're doing, because it's one of the most important thing that, in fact, it's the most important thing every family should have. Life insurance may not even be expensive. I don't need to go to the nitty-gritty of life insurance. Basically, what life insurance means is that if anything happened to you or anything happened to your partner, your children are going to be looked after. One of the things I've observed is that when someone passes, it's not just the fact that, okay, yeah, we're going to miss this person. Obviously, death is the worst thing that can happen to anybody. But one of the things that people cry about when someone passes is the fact that, how am I going to cope? If it's the man that passes, the woman is going to be like, how am I going to cope? Where am I going to start from to look after these children? There's school fees, there's feeding, there's life ahead. But if you have life insurance in place, at least you know that the financial aspect of things will be taken care of, at least the most important things. For example, in the UK, you have life insurance, you may be able to get up to 400, 500, 600,000 pounds. You may be able to pay off your mortgage. You may be able to send your children to school without school loan. There are so many things that you can be able to do with life insurance. So life insurance is like a backup plan for every family. If you are married, you don't have life insurance, think about what happens when you leave. Death is inevitable. It's going to happen anytime. It doesn't matter the age, death is going to happen. I would encourage you, if you're watching, let me come close. I want to come close because this point is very important. I am going to encourage you now, if you're watching this video, yes, you're watching me, as a woman or as a man, you don't have life insurance in place. As soon as you finish watching this video, the first thing you want to do is go and search for life insurance, and as soon as you can, have one in place for your children. People always say, oh, I'm working hard for my kids, I'm working hard for my family, I'm working hard. The best way you can work hard for your children is have life insurance in place. That's one way you can say, okay, I'm working hard, have life insurance in place. I think I've said enough, but just know that life insurance is one of the important things that every family should put in place. Don't tell me blood of Jesus, God forbid, I won't die young, I will live and see my future children, my grand. Amen to all them prayers. Be realistic. Be real to yourself. Be honest to yourself. Death can happen anytime. And when it happens, what are you leaving behind for your children? What are you leaving behind for your family? That's what is most important. One of the things you don't want to do is die and leave problem. Basically, your death is a problem to your family. You don't want to do that. So have life insurance in place for your family and for your children. Another thing I want to talk about that every family needs to have in place is savings. This is so important that I can't even talk. Honestly, it's so important. I don't even know where to start from, because it's something I can talk from now till tomorrow. And I know that I and Derrick have made a video about finances where we talked about savings as well. If I haven't posted that video, or the video will be popping out on the screen. If it's not popping out on this part of the screen, know that I haven't posted it, but we've made the video where we talked in detail about finances, family finances, and also savings. Savings is very, very important. I have come to understand that in the course of emergency, for example, something happened, like someone falls sick, or something happens that you need money. The thing about emergency, that's why it's called emergency. Emergency doesn't ring the doorbell. Emergency doesn't tell you that it's coming. Emergency doesn't give you notice. It just happens. In the course of emergency, or when emergency happens, do you have a backup? If, for example, they lay you off your job, now do you have wage that will be able to, or do you have money that will be able to sustain you at least from now till when you get another job? I always encourage, or I have been taught that, have at least 3 to 4 months of your wage aside as savings. Some people will tell you 6 months, some people will tell you depending on how you want it, but I always say at least 4 months of savings in somewhere. Just keep it somewhere. That is your savings. That is not where you're going to take money to help do one thing. That's not where you're going to take money to when someone there's somewhere you want to sow a seed, you go there and take the money. That's not where you're going to take money from and pay your tithe. No, that's not where you're going to take money for. That is emergency fund. You need to save it and keep there. So every family needs to have savings or emergency fund. Because one of the things that most families don't do is that when they run into these emergencies, they don't even have where to start from. It will be nice even when you're going to meet somebody for help. You say, you know what, this problem requires 200,000 pounds, or let's not go crazy. This problem requires 1,000 pounds, but you know what? I have 500. Can you please help me with 400? Or can you please help me with 500? The fact that you have part of the money already, people would want to help you. But when a problem requires 1,000 pounds and you don't even have 100 pounds for yourself, you don't even have anything, you basically want people to help you with the whole 1,000 pounds, that's where the problem happens. That's where people start thinking, are you telling me that you don't even have any savings? Forget about what you see people do stuff. People have savings. A lot of people have caught into this idea of saving money. If you have a family, you're planning to have a family, you have children, and you don't have family savings or emergency fund somewhere for yourself and for your family, for example, in case you're laid off your work, or something happens, or life happen, you'll be able to have where to stand on to be able to start your life all over again. This pandemic has really taught us a very big lesson. The past 1 year, a lot of people have been laid off their job. A lot of people that have businesses, thriving businesses, people that are doing well in all areas of their life, all of a sudden the pandemic hits, and that's it. If you live in a country where you don't even have any support, thankfully people in this country, in the UK, they managed to get like the furlough scheme and every other thing to help families and businesses. But if you live in a place where you don't have anything, how are you going to manage? How are you going to cope? So savings and or emergency fund is very, very important for every family to have. I don't know how to say it. I don't know. I can talk about it from now till tomorrow, but I think it's very, very, very important for every family to have savings. Not just you having savings. Teach your children as well how to save. Teach your kids. That's a topic of another day, but just bear that in mind, that teach your children how to save. Another thing as well that I think every family should have in place is, there's this idea which I've seen in so many places where the couple decides that the wife shouldn't work. Mostly the wife, sometimes the man as well, but mostly the wife should not work. The wife should be a stay-at-home mom. It's a very good thing. Honestly, it's beautiful. But I have come to understand that if you're planning to do that, for your wife to be a stay-at-home mother, or you are a stay-at-home woman, you need to bear some things in mind. The first question you're going to ask yourself is, if my husband decides that this marriage is over, what are you going to do? If your husband, life happens, your husband passes, what are you going to do? A lot of things that people need to think about. I actually agree that people should, if the two couples shouldn't be working full time. I think couples should one person should have the flexible job and the other person probably be the main person who is working. But the other one, where one person does not work at all, you don't have a job, you don't have a business, you don't have a skill that you can fall back on, my dear sister, if you're in that position, you are in a hole, basically. A hole where you don't have an option. Because if anything happens, whereby nobody is praying for anything bad, we are not praying for anything bad, but if anything happens where your husband decides to walk away, right? You're there. You don't even know what to do. Or let's say life happens and your husband passes away, or something happens, he doesn't have life insurance, he doesn't have savings, he doesn't have emergency fund, he doesn't have anything in place. From the day he passes, from the day he leaves you, that is the beginning of your sorrow. And one of the things I've come to understand is the fact that most women that are in an abusive relationship, one of the reasons why they can't actually walk away from that abusive relationship is because they don't have anything to fall back on. An independent woman who has a job or a business doing well finds herself in an abusive relationship. The reason she might not work out will not be the fact that she's financially doesn't have anywhere to fall back on. She might just decide to be there because of her children, or decide to be there to make the marriage work. But in terms of finances, she can easily walk away. Let me talk to you ladies, because I'm a woman. If your husband tells you, honey, you know what, I want you to be the stay-at-home mom. I don't want you to work. I don't want you to do business. I just want you to look after the children. Amazing, fantastic, that's beautiful. But what I will ask you to do is make sure your husband has life insurance in place. Make sure there is an emergency fund. In fact, if possible, let your husband be paying you wage on a monthly basis. When I mean wage, at the end of the month, your husband should be able to give you some money that you can be able to, use it to look after the family and also look after yourself. I personally advocate that women should work, no matter how tiny, even if it's once a day you're going for your job, or have a business, even if the business gives you £5 every month. I don't care. Have something that you do. Have something that you do apart from the financial aspect of things, so that you will have mouths in that family. Yes, so that you will be at least how do I put it? So that you will be part of that family. Because if you're just there, all you do is collect, at some point it becomes a waste of space. I'm sorry to say it. So I think I've dwelled on this topic a lot, and I've said a lot of things. Every woman should have something doing. Don't tell me my husband loves me so much that he doesn't want me to do anything. Just forget it. Your husband definitely loves you, but think about the bigger picture. Think for yourself ahead. What happens tomorrow? like I said, nobody's praying for anything bad, but think about yourself and think about your children. The place you will find yourself where you don't have any option because you don't have shekom in your bank account. You don't have anything to fall back on. You begin to tolerate nonsense. You begin to take all sorts. If something happens to you, it's just going to be like so bad. I remember watching a video of a lady on YouTube as well. I think that she was one of the reasons I'm talking about this. She was a full-time housewife. He worked for them. It was a beautiful family. It was an amazing family. The husband was loving, beautiful, but they never knew. I don't know. Life happened and the husband just suddenly passed away. And I can tell you that she immediately knew that life has just begun, because it was tough. And up till now, she's advocating that women should at least have something to do. And unfortunately, the man didn't have life insurance. So I would advise you guys, if your husband said don't work, have other things in place, that in case stuff happens, you'll be able to have something to fall back on. Another thing I think every family should be able to have is someone who drives. I don't think there's anybody in this world where, I'm just thinking, honestly, I don't think there's any family in this world that one person can't drive. I mean, like, obviously in a developed country, that at least one person in the family cannot drive. I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think so. I don't think there's anyone watching me right now that anyone in your, either you can't drive or your husband, both of you can't drive. I don't think so. If peradventure any of you or anyone is watching me, you can't drive and your partner cannot drive, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. I would also say again that every woman should drive. Yes, every woman should at least learn how to drive. You're not working, you're not driving, you don't have savings, you don't have life insurance. Come, what are you doing to yourself? Every woman should learn how to drive. I'm going to be linking a video. There's a video I made on why every woman should drive. I'm going to be linking it here on the screen so you can watch the importance. I listed a lot of important reasons, and I also encouraged women on why they should drive. I am begging you. In fact, this is the beg I'm begging. Every woman, go and drive. If you think your husband, when you want to go to the shop, your husband takes you. When you want to go to the market, your husband takes you. When you want to go for that function, your husband takes you. Appointment, your husband takes you. When your husband is not there, you're basically limited to going out. What's the point in this 21st century? In fact, I'm not going to talk about this again. Every woman should drive. Another thing as well that I think, which is the final thing I think every family should have in place, is a junior ISA account. This is optional actually for some family, because if you have your life insurance, you have your emergency funds, you have other things in place, you may decide not to have an ISA account for your children. But it's just an encouragement. It's just something I think I should put out there. Every family that have children or they're going to have children, as soon as the baby comes, open an ISA account for that child. It doesn't have to be £2,000 going there every month. It can be £5 going there every month, £2 going there every month. Little drop in the ocean makes it mighty, whatever they call it. But if you don't put money in your account, you'll be like, that's £10 that is left at the end of every month. You can just throw it into your kids' account, That £5 that is left at the end of every month, you can just throw it. You just put it in your children's account, because you never know. They might use it at the end of the day. By the time they turn 18, that's £5 you're putting will be up to maybe £15,000, maybe up to £10,000, and they can use it to start their life. What does every parent want? You give your children a head start in life. That's what everyone dreams of. Even if you don't get to that huge amount of money, you can say, okay, honey, can you take this, darling? Take this, darling, and go for your driving test, or take this for this, or take this for that. That's what, it's just savings. It's another way of savings as well. So child ISA account or children ISA account is very, very important. If you've not heard about it, I want you to do your research and find one that you think is okay for you and your family, and just crack on with it. Very, very, very important. So guys, these are the 5 top things that I think every family should have. If you don't have these things, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know, because a lot of things are going on in this world. You see, honestly, I don't know. Nobody plans for anything bad. Nobody plans for anything negative to happen to anyone. But the reality of life is that life happens. Death happens. Sicknesses happens. People sleep and don't wake up. People just walk on the way and fall. A lot of things happen that nobody plans for. But we need to put things in place. God has given us the wisdom to be able to put these things in place. So if you haven't done these things, or you've got 1 or 2 in place and you need to do the others as well, I will encourage you to do it as soon as possible, especially the life insurance, as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any question, let me know in the comment section. And if you have any of this in place, any of it in place, let me know in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Be grateful, be positive, and be yourself. See you on my next video. Bye for now.